Hey everybody, it's me, Bob Harris, Senior Editor of FootballDiehards.com. It's time for your Week 7 injury preview, review, update, overview. The thing we like to do every Saturday to get you up to speed, set the table, get things on your radar that need to be there. If you're just jumping in for the weekend, getting ready to set your lineups, this is the place to get started and get the ball rolling. As always, things will change after I record this. 2 p.m. Eastern Time is when I'm recording this on Saturday, so check your late-breaking updates section. You'll see the list of headlines on the main page of the site. Also, check the FSP staff rankings. The cheat sheet will give you all the information you need to know in one handy stop, so that's why they call it a cheat sheet, people. Helps you get ahead. Remember, the Bills, Rams, Vikings, and Eagles are all on bye this week, so get them out of your lineups. There's a lot of good players in there, so watch that. Also, Christian McCaffrey was traded from the Carolina Panthers to San Francisco 49ers. So that's something to watch as well, and it'll make for some interesting decisions. I'll dive through all these injury issues in chronological order from the early kickoffs to the later kickoffs to Monday night to help you get a feel for what kind of fallback options you need. We'll start out with the Baltimore Ravens, who are hosting the Cleveland Browns. J.K. Dobbins is out. He will miss 4 to 6 weeks. According to reports, he's going to have his knee scoped, tightened up last week. Kenya Drake's been playing well last 2 weeks and seems like likely to be the lead piece in this backfield, but Justice Hill is back from injury. And Gus Edwards is a player to watch. He is on pup, but could be activated any time. He's been practicing, so watch that. Again, check the late-breaking headlines to see if that happens as early as today, this afternoon. They have to do it by 4 p.m. Eastern time if they're going to do it to get him in the game this week. Beyond that, Rashad Bateman looks like he could return from a 2-week absence with a foot sprain. He's listed as questionable, practiced all week. You'll have to wait that one. And Mark Andrews also listed as questionable, star tight end. Would love to have him. He practiced on Friday, said he felt good. John Harbaugh called it, rest the first day he missed, and then the second day he missed, maybe more than rest. He's listed with a knee issue, so that's one to watch. He does say he'll play. So that would be good news. The Detroit Lions are traveling to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Dak Prescott will start, returns to the starting lineup after Cooper Rush filled in for him since week 1, since he hurt his thumb. Dak did. So CeeDee Lamb off the injury report, Dalton Schultz off the injury report. So all the pieces are in place. We'll see what Dak can do in a really favorable matchup. Could be a good game. Also, the Detroit Lions, very powerful offense as well, even if their defense is horrible. DeAndre Swift and Josh Reynolds both listed as questionable for this game. DJ Chark ruled out. Seems like Reynolds will play. Swift missed the 2 games prior to the bye. This was the plan, they said, to get him healthy coming out of the bye. He's still questionable. My guess is he will play, but that's only a guess. You'll need to watch that one closely when the inactives are announced as well. Jamal Williams will be standing by as needed. Washington Commanders will be hosting the Green Bay Packers. Carson Wentz out this game and beyond. He was placed on injured reserve Saturday afternoon prior to the filming of this. So Taylor Heineke takes over quarterback. Maybe good news for Terry McLaurin, right? Beyond that, we have some injury issues to deal with. De'Ami Brown and Logan Thomas both ruled out. The tight end will be his 3rd straight game. He's missed with his calf injury. And so Jahan Dotson, the starter here, who until he hurt his hamstring a couple weeks ago, that's who Brown had been filling in for. Dotson is questionable. Seemed like he aggravated the hamstring in practice this week, but he thinks he's going to give it a go. That'll be one to watch. And John Bates, the backup tight end, the guy who's been starting in place of Logan Thomas, is questionable as well with a hamstring injury. So Commanders are a team to watch. On the other side of the ball, Christian Watson ruled out, the rookie wide receiver. Randall Cobb placed on IR. Sammy Watkins activated from IR just before I filmed this. He is given a questionable designation coming off the IR list. He had a hamstring issue. He's been practicing this week. It seems likely they wouldn't have activated him if they didn't think he could play, so my guess is he will play. So watch that. Jacksonville Jaguars are hosting the New York Giants in this one, and we've got some issues there. Marvin Jones listed as questionable, missed last week's game with the hamstring injury he suffered in practice during the week leading up to the game. They expect him to return. He's been working on a limited basis. Jamal Agnew will not play this week, out with a knee injury. On the other side of the ball, no surprises. No Kadarius Toney, no Kenny Golladay. Toney with the hamstring, Golladay with the knee, and just hasn't been great for either of them. Wandale Robinson, the rookie, kind of getting some opportunities to show what all the buzz was about him over the summer. Maybe he'll build his role a little more there. The opportunities will be there. For the Carolina Panthers, they're hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Again, Christian McCaffrey not there. So the backfield's going to be split up between Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Foreman. If you listen to comments when Foreman was signed, it sounded like he might be the lead guy based on what Scott Fitterer, the GM, said at the time, but we don't have a lot of evidence. Steve Reed from the Associated Press thinks it's going to be Chuba Hubbard is the lead piece. Honestly, it's going to be a timeshare, and you're kind of taking your chances with either until we get a good feel for it, but that's kind of where we're at on this one. On the other side of the ball, Julio Jones and Cameron Brate ruled out will not play again this week. The Braid has a neck injury, wasn't expected to play. Julio, they're taking the long-term view. They want to piece his, late in the season, down the stretch, in the playoffs when it matters most. They're not going to push him back into the fray. That takes us to the late afternoon window. We'll start out with the Texans at the Raiders. For the Raiders, Darren Waller has been ruled out. The hamstring he hurt in Week 5 is not ready to go, so Foster Moreau off the injury report with a knee issue. He will be the starter at tight end. There are issues with wide receiver as well. Hunter Renfrow came up with a hip injury in practice this week. Seems likely to play. He went on the injury report Thursday and practiced again Friday, or at least on a limited basis, and Josh McDaniels expressed some optimism. Mac Hollins, the other starting receiver who works the outside along with Davante Adams with Renfrow in the slot, is questionable as well with a heel injury. So should be a good game for Josh Jacobs. The Texans easy to run on. Maybe that's the direction I'll go. A lot of opportunities for Davante Adams in this one as well. On the other side of the ball, Brevin Jordan and Chris Moore both listed as questionable. Nico Collins off the injury report. Jordan thinks he'll return. Hurt his ankle in Week 1, aggravated in Week 2. Haven't seen him since. So they've been kind of playing tight end shuffle there. All the other pieces are in place for them. And there aren't very many of them, right? Damian Pierce, Brandon Cooks, those are the pieces we're looking to play. And Pierce is in a pretty good spot here, just based on volume alone. The big news in the late afternoon window, Russell Wilson was ruled out on Saturday, the hamstring injury. He's had the shoulder, injured the hamstring last week. Mobility a concern. They ruled him out Saturday. Didn't even have him do the walkthrough. Brett Ripien will get the start. His last game, I think he started, was 2020 against the Jets, the same team we will be playing this week. And the Broncos hosting the Jets in this one. So that'll be interesting to watch and see what Brett Ripien can do that maybe Russell Wilson hasn't been able to do. It's just been a mess there. Elijah Moore on the other side of the ball will not play. He's not hurt. He demanded a trade, left the facility for some period. He won't play this week. Should be back next week, but out for this week. The Seattle Seahawks taking on the Los Angeles Chargers in Los Angeles. Tyler Lockett listed as questionable in this one. Seems a little dicey. It's the late afternoon window. You want to have a fallback plan in place. Pete Carroll said if anyone can play without practicing all week, it's Tyler Lockett. The fact that he has to play without practicing, always a concern. On the other side of the ball, Joshua Kelly ruled out, Josh Palmer ruled out, Donald Parham Jr. ruled out, Dustin Hopkins, the kicker, ruled out. So take your chance. Burlett, the kicker that's replaced Hopkins. I don't know if you want to play him. Keenan Allen, listed as questionable, has been sending mixed messages as to his availability. Daniel Popper from The Athletic reported that he was in the red zone packages in practice on Friday, which is kind of an indication that a player will go. With Joshua Kelly out, sounds like Isaiah Spiller will be active, but he also was working in those red zone drills, so maybe a small role for him. Sony Michel also available in that spot. If Keenan Allen doesn't go, it's pretty slim pickings, right? It's Mike Williams, it's Gerald Everett, DeAndre Carter. I mean, they're going to have some pieces rise up. Austin Eckler maybe gets a little better workload as well. So that'll be interesting to see. Chiefs and 49ers, again, everybody healthy in that game. The question is, what role will Christian McCaffrey play? We really don't know. The expectation is he will be active in uniform and available. Some reports have suggested a red zone role. Maybe Jeff Wilson keeps the lead role for this week. Boy, it's a mystery, and I think if people that have McCaffrey on their roster are going to want to play him. The truth is we're not going to have that kind of information. Maybe we get something overnight or early in the morning. Check the late-breaking news section of the site, and I'll have any tidbits or notes that are floating around out there about possible playing time. I'm sure we'll hear something. The question is how accurate it will be, because I think right now nobody has good answers on this, right? We just know Christian McCaffrey's a 49er. We know the long-term plan. They have big plans for him. Probably doesn't bode well for Jeff Wilson, Elijah Mitchell, Tyrion Davis-Price. We hardly even knew you, so interesting change up there. Sunday night's game, the Steelers and the Dolphins. Jalen Waddle listed as questionable with a shoulder issue. Seems likely to play. Durham Smythe also questionable as well in that one. Waddle's been playing through a groin issue. That's gone. Now it's the shoulder. He was in a non-contact jersey. So Sunday night kickoff, need a fallback in place. Maybe you have one, an outlier of the Steelers. Maybe Trent Sherfield is a guy you could add to your roster. Kind of emerged as wide receiver 3 for Miami in this case. Should be a bit of a shootout. Neither team playing a lot of defense in this one. Other side of the ball, everyone's been cleared and good to go. Pat Freiermuth and Kenny Pickett, the rookie quarterback, had concussions. They're both fully cleared and will play. Monday Night Football, Bears and Patriots. Mac Jones seems like he's trending towards playing. The actual injury report will be out shortly. after I record this, so check the late breaking updates. Kendrick Bourne an issue, Nelson Aguilar an issue. Seems like Damian Pierce has been working fully all week and might well be back, and the Bears have no injuries of note. So there you have it. Week 7. Good luck, everybody. I hope you're faring well, and get those lineups all dialed in. We'll see you next week.